tons of massive news, a lot of massive news coming in the market. Some really interesting stuff happening. I need to cover this for you because it is, some of this is very time sensitive. It's very important. It could change the course of this bull run significantly. And to be clear, I say 7 days because in about 7 days, we're going to start the Bitcoin conference, actually in exactly 7 days. And the rumors are insane right now. So 7 days before these rumors are either confirmed or denied, maybe 2 extra days because of the fact that the conference ends in about 9 days. So this is absolutely nuts. If you don't mind, let's just start. Hit that subscribe button underneath the video. My brain's fried. I can't even say subscribe anymore because there's too much going on. But if you don't mind, let's just start there. Also, if you want to trade cryptocurrency, there's a link to Margex underneath the video. I actually talk about some really important news in my last video too, and talk about like trading strategies for the rest of the bull run based on what we've seen so far. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it on the end screen. But if you want to trade, there's a link to Margex underneath the video. They have a big airdrop going on right now, up to $5,000. There are also a couple other links like CoinW You underneath the video where you can trade over there. They're giving 150 ton per person, up to 150 ton per person away, which is about $1,000 worth of Telegram token, which is done insanely well. Who knows how well that continues to perform. Also, there's a link to WEEX underneath the video. They're doing an airdrop too. They're giving away $100 to the first 50 people that sign up and deposit $100. And I think you have to start trading too. So definitely check that out underneath the video. They have 1,000 Bitcoin that they use as a reserve, like safety reserve for their platform and for their company. And then take a look at this. Bitcoin Nashville. These tickets are going insane. Like some of them have already sold out, some of the tiers, but they are saying get yours before they sell out. There's going to be a price increase this Friday, which is tomorrow at the time of this recording. So if you haven't already gotten a ticket and you plan on it, like this is your last chance essentially. Like you want to get a ticket, and with the link underneath the video and the code that's right by the link, you get an additional 10% off. But let's start here. Bitcoin's falling a little bit here today, down to 63.5. Maybe some Mt. Gox Bitcoin, maybe ETFs are selling a bit. Doesn't really matter because the fact is we're back in this range. We're back in this important range, the $60,000 to $70,000 range. And we're going to see a little bit of volatility. It's been a little bit muted though. If you look we were at the same point, 4 days ago. We've just been moving back and forth between 62 and 66. So that actually is a decent size range for Bitcoin. But yeah, we have some interesting rumors going on. Trump apparently has been talking about using Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. And he's determined to dominate Bitcoin and crypto industries. He's talked about wanting to mine all the Bitcoin in the US, which is impossible, but it's a good goal to have and shows where his head's at. He says, I don't want to be responsible for any other country taking over the sphere. And we just got news actually this morning of a bank, where is that? About a Chinese bank that is now talking about Bitcoin. They're talking about it being a better store of value than gold. Apparently I can't find it, but they're talking about the biggest Chinese bank talking about Bitcoin being a better asset than gold. Okay. Now, on top of this, what we know about Trump saying that basically he wants to keep Bitcoin in the US, he wants to get to it before China does. There are more and more confirmations that the rumors may be true that Trump is going to announce a USA Bitcoin strategic reserve in Nashville. He's obviously the head speaker, like the headline speaker at the Nashville conference. I mean, it's pretty good when Michael Saylor's like down the list at a Bitcoin conference. But yeah, we're talking about Trump possibly making Bitcoin a strategic reserve. Now, what does that look like? It's impossible to know. We don't even know if it's going to happen. From what he's indicated, it sounds like maybe. But I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that means, hey, we're going to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin every month. I don't know if it means $10 million of Bitcoin a day. I don't know if it means, hey, we're going to go out and see how much Bitcoin we can get our hands on, like up to $10 billion or $50 billion. Keep in mind, There's about 2.5 million Bitcoin on exchanges from what we can tell. And this isn't all like people trying to sell it. Some people just hold their Bitcoin on exchanges. But at, let's say, $65,000, that puts the available Bitcoin at about 162.5 billion. Okay, so a big buy though, a couple $1 billion buy, $10 billion buy, maybe it's more than that. That pushes up the price drastically. It pushes up the price very quickly. It's hard to buy billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. I mean, we've seen that from a few entities, but even like Mr. 100, right? They have maybe $4 or $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. This has been over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. So Bitcoin was bought up by the US, that'll push up the price. What's probably even more important, other countries will take note. They'll start buying as well. I'm guessing some countries already have Bitcoin and haven't really talked about it. Even the US, I'm guessing they probably have more Bitcoin even than they let on about. It just makes sense when you have such a big supply of money. There's so many different places that you can put it. It makes sense to maybe buy a little bit of this, but it's impossible to know. This also just gives a final stamp of approval. I mean, I don't think you need really much more stamp of approval than BlackRock, Larry Fink, Fidelity, maybe Jamie Dimon now getting on the train, Trump already liking it as well, along with a lot of Silicon Valley. A lot of the big billionaires, vocal billionaires, are talking about Bitcoin in a very positive, strategic way. We have companies buying, we have pensions buying. So I'm not sure you need that final stamp of approval to have a really good bull run. You don't need it, but it's definitely going to add fuel to the fire. Imagine the craziness if Trump says, yes, when I become elected, I'm going to go out and buy Bitcoin. If he gets elected and all that kind of stuff. And that's very different than, hey, we did just buy Bitcoin. Like, it's different if he says we're going to versus he's already in office and he says we just bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. That is still different, but I still think it adds a lot of fuel to the fire. And then, like, keep that in mind, if he says he's going to, people are going to try to front run that. Just like any other big entity, if they say, hey, we're going to buy this, but we can't buy it yet. People try to front run that. They try to buy beforehand because they think that they can get a nice gain in the meantime. So that will add like more fuel to the fire. That will be a huge narrative. Like last year around October, November, December, we were always talking about ETFs, and then beginning of January, they started buying. This might be the same thing where it's like all fall and winter we start talking about it, and maybe the beginning of next year they start buying. Again, we're not certain on all this, but it is interesting to take a look at. DeFi Technologies, this is a stock that I've talked about several times, and it's performed really well. Like if you just look here, 6 months, it's up 300%. 1 month down slightly, but that's because it hit like a peak and then came down a little bit. But over the last 5 days, also up 27%. Year to date, up 188%. 1 year up 1,200%. So this thing has done insanely well. They just made an announcement. They're expanding their Bitcoin treasury holdings and diversifying into Solana, Core, and Core DAO staking. Okay, so they already hold Bitcoin. They have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They purchased an additional 94.34, bring the total to almost double, about 204 Bitcoin. They also added 12,775 Solana. At today's price of about 155, that's almost $2 million worth of Solana. This market cap is not huge. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It shows differently, 444 million. So they have almost 0.5% of their market cap now in Solana, which is pretty interesting. Solana as a strategic reserve asset, and Core and Core DAO staking. Additional of Core, which is something that I actually hold, they purchased 1.4 million Core tokens. Let's see, Core crypto. Let's take a look at the price. So $1.42. This is surprising that this thing is pretty much sideways on the day, because they bought about $2 million, $2.25 million worth of Core tokens. This is pretty nuts when you consider it. So yeah, they're adding to their balance sheet. Tesla and Intersect Power today announced a contract for 15.3 gigawatt hours of megapacks through 2030, worth over $3 billion. This is insane. Actually, if you don't know what this means, like I had to do some math because I'm not great with gigawatt hours, kilowatt hours, megawatt hours, all that kind of stuff. Take a look at what this means. 1 gigawatt hour is equivalent to 1 million kilowatt hours. So a power plant with a capacity of 1 gigawatt hour could power approximately 876,000 households for 1 year if they consume about 10,000 kilowatt hours each, which I looked up. The average electricity per year is about that amount, like 10 to 11,000. So this project is for 15.3 of these. That means that you're looking at being able to power maybe 13 million homes, something around 13 million homes for an entire year. 13 million, I mean, think about it a different way. 13 million times 365. So you could power if I'm doing my math right, 4.7 billion homes for a day. Let's say power goes out. You could power over half the world for a full day. That is nuts. Okay, so this is a massive contract. It's worth $3 billion for Tesla. Let's see what Tesla stock is doing today. It's up 0.34%. It was up more based on this news. Now it's come down just because the general market's come down, but it's fallen down about 2.5%. Absolutely insane. That's a huge contract. Now, again, if you want tickets to Bitcoin Nashville, there are links underneath the video. You can get an extra 10% off with my code. So definitely check that out. Like, this is the time to do it. If you're going to go and you haven't already gotten your ticket, like, prices get higher. They might sell out of tickets too. There's some freebie stuff that you get invited to as well if you buy their tickets, like Karate Combat and stuff, as I understand. But I don't know how their capacity looks. So if you want some of the freebies too, you might want to sign up. If you want to trade crypto, there are the links to Margex, CoinW, WEEX underneath the video. Definitely check out all those. They've all got airdrops going. I'm trying to get you guys the best deals possible. Even if you're already a client, you can just hit the join now button or hit the link underneath the video, log into your account, hit join now, and then when you trade, you can get in on these airdrops. So definitely check that out. Thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you all in the next video.